So essentially, with the TV, with the programming machine that they put us in a mental construct of competition over and over and over again, right? And and this is the interesting thing about the competition thing. We're naturally a loving people. So somewhere down the line, we got encoded with now don't get me wrong, there's aspects of warrior people right out here. There's loving people, there's nurturers and all of that, right? But essentially what happens is we moved into a space of the glamorization, the glamour, right? Where the glamour is all that matters, and the glamour supersedes any internal win that you might have for yourself. You want the vindication from others. You feel me? You want the shiny car and shit. Just so, like Pacho was saying, just so some other person can say, "Oh yeah, you the man." And that shit is overinflated evidence like a motherfucker on that ass, boy. God damn. Go ahead, Pacho. Tell me something.
I would say in answering D-Ray and also attributing some of the stuff that Mars said, we have to look at it in terms of, let's be real about the socioeconomic dynamics that we've been placed in. We've been placed on the back end for a reason
Mm.
because of how strong we are genetically. Do you understand? And it's like when you start to really understand the way economics evolves, the way things are done, it's not just a black thing. There's different layers to this level of self oppression that happens in different dynamics. And when you're around different cultures, you will see it. So, with the Asian community, whether Southeast or Eastern, you see that whole thing of they have to be the model minority. You know, I went to school with this girl, she's Chinese, and she'll be like, yo, that was my homegirl, Amy. She's like, yo, why everybody think I'm smart? I'm sitting next to you so I can pass class. But she's like, everybody wants to sit next to me thinking, oh, I'm the Chinese girl, so therefore I'm smart. She said, I turn around and let them know I am not that smart. I failed math. Don't come sit next to me. I don't know what the F I'm doing. But that's her level of pressure. Do you understand what I'm saying? And to answer D Ray's question, why we feel that, why a Shakari, even in terms of how she talks so much, and then, you know, people are just waiting there to ridicule her, it's because she has to talk to herself that way. That's the only way she's making it out of the hood. But what she now has to understand is when she's reached a certain level of attainment, she now has to say, yo, it's okay. You know what I mean? You have to get to a certain level where you've reached the goal and you have to ask yourself these real questions. So with Shakari, it's the medals, it's, you know, the honor of being an athlete. But then is she able to recognize that level of attainment? Because guess what? I'm not making quote unquote how much I should make. I don't have the big sponsorship like, I don't know, I can't think of like what Alex was
Alex
Felix or something
Felix.
like that. Like
Yeah.
certain women that came before her, like, oh, I'm not as prolific as that. You still got time. I don't remember how old she is, but it's like you still have time. This is longevity. Like, think from that perspective. But I feel someone like her, if we look at it in terms of an archetype, she is now being forced to evolve. It's the same way how you were saying with the USA used to beat everybody, da 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 da. But guess what? Now internationally, we're getting beat. Why? Because everybody's been looking at the US dominate. So all of these athletes, they have the same idols that Americans have. And what happens is when you're the first, you set the bar, you set the blueprint. But there's going to come a time where your blueprint is outdated. And this is where you need to evolve. You understand what I'm saying? It's that point in time where you need to evolve. So this thing about only black people do this, nah, we don't. The more you're around other people and you become culturally astute, this is not just a black thing. We experience it in the, let's just say, to a level of depth. And if we start to understand the place that they've put us in society and think about it from a point of the mind, right? If we attack this from the point of the mind, we have been relegated to be the collective's shadow.
Mm.
Every aspect of everything that is wrong with society is attributed on purpose to the people who are genetically superior. It's not an accident. This shit is by design. When you understand that, you start to, it's the same thing Naeem Akbar was like, until you truly understand the construct in which you live in, and you can see it on different dimensions of thought, you are going to be forever trapped. That's what we need to start doing. When we're thinking about this, you can't think about this shit from a human level, because you're only ever going to see it from such a base level of less emotional maturity. This is a thing of, you have to get it and understand this whole system works on a parasitic, narcissistic perspective. And we have now become programmed. And whose mind have we become programmed by? We have been projected upon. This is not our projection. This is not our persona. Do you understand? This is learned behavior. It's the same way where you have children, and if you keep them around of someone who's abusive, they are going to start to internalize that. Do you understand? So we need to give ourselves a certain level of grace and respect and understanding. Nah, this black thing, yes, it's there, but understand the deeper root of what that is. The deeper root of, yo, we've been mind controlled to no avail, more than everyone else, and we're still here. So some of the shit you see us doing, that's us not acting like ourselves. That's us acting like the people who have put us in this paradigm, because this is their paradigm of thought. This society we live in is a construct from a people who they came out of caves. They had nothing. They can only do what? Kill, steal, pillage. Do you think because we're living now in the 21st century, that pathology is gone? No, they've just evolved that thought. They don't go to war anymore. They don't have to do what the Roman Empire did. They do what is called corporate arbitrage. They lock down everything. Every country is used on a corporate level. And they don't have to go out and go do physical war. They do economical warfare. This is what we need to start to understand. And if you're here as a Nubian person, as a Black person, whatever you want to call yourself, you have to understand from that level of thought, or you're going to be trapped. Because why? You are not creating anything. That's the only thing that has us stuck. We stop creating.